Paranormalic Activities Podcast. Your one-stop shop for all things creepy, kooky, weird and spooky. All done with an ale or two.
Welcome to... Oh, sorry, Nick.
He's all for it.
Do you know what? When he starts, he can't stop.
He keeps repeating himself.
He does. No, I keep telling Nick Stepani, you've got a face for radio. And he ain't spoke to me since. Bless his cotton socks. Anyway, welcome to Paralytic Activities Podcast. Tonight, for one night only, sound like the full Monty.
I know.
You ain't going to start stripping off, are you?
Don't lose me weight, mate. You know what I mean?
Well, you never know. We're going back to our old format because we got a guest. We got the YouTube debunker, Beardo from Beardo Gets Scared. So all we've got tonight is we're going to ask Beardo some questions. We've got a paranormal ale, as per normal, because we're sponsored by Cafe of the Metro. We'll have a quick fire 10, a paranormal room 101, and plus a little bit more thrown in just for your entertainment. So there you go. Have some of that, Neil.
Yes.
Have some of that.
John, I'm enjoying going back to our roots. I'm here, really. You know, we ain't done it for ages, have we? So,
No.
You know, I'm going back to our roots. I don't know about my hair either. I don't know what's happening with my hair, John. So,
Neil, I'm just going to pour this little bad boy.
but yeah, it's a nice change. I even forgot all this that you're doing. You know,
Good.
all the questions.
I'm glad I'm here to to remind you. Anyway, tonight, all the way from Cafe Metro, we got Wicked Witch Porter. Wicked Witch Porter. Have some of that. And look at this, Neil. Look at that.
The dark and eight.
It ain't off. So this is all the way from Fossey Farm in Stratford. This guy makes his own beer, Neil.
Really?
And we bought it from a butterfly farm. That's where it was bought from. By our good friend, my daughter's boyfriend, Neil. Jack Painter, or I like to call him Cactus. Cactus Jack. So, Neil, this is 4.5%. It's a dark porter. I'm just going to give it a quick swill, give it a little rating on the ale scale, and then we'll get cracking. Not like it.
Not like it.
No, it tastes like shit.
You know,
Now,
I'd run the other day, but it's different, and that tastes like shit.
now it's not too bad. It's a bit vinegary for a porter.
Yeah.
I mean, it's now Titanic, it's now Plum Porter, and it's now Stephen Porter either.
No.
Neil. Do you know what I mean?
I'll tell him that one.
Yeah, good. I'm glad to hear it. So, cut a long story short, Spandau Ballet 1982. Have I got it right this time?
Yes.
Yeah. On the paranormal art scale, that is going to get a 3.2, and that's all it's getting. So I'm going to drink it anyway because, even though it's a school night, it's got to be done, eh?
It seems a bit weird you doing the ale, John.
This is why I'm shit at it, Neil. Do you know what I mean?
I know, because I ain't drinking, you know what I mean? I've only got a lemonade and
Lemonade, yeah.
splash of vodka.
A splash of vodka. Do you mean it's a vodka with a splash of lemonade?
Yes.
That's basically what it is.
No calories.
Basically. Anyway, Neil, Beardo's in the green room. His lip is on. He's ready to go. His hair's done. He's got his mug of Coke. Oh, I think it's Coke. Could be some Jack Daniels there. I'm not too sure. But we're going to bring him in, Neil, and get cracking with tonight's show. Good evening, fine sir.
Good evening
All
to you
right,
guys.
pal.
And it's rum and
Right.
coke.
Yes.
Rum and Coke. What rum is it?
Yeah. Captain Morgan spiced. I can't drink dark
Um,
rum. I had a heavy night with it. Got ill. Can't touch the dark stuff since. The smell of it.
I did have a nice spiced black cherry Kraken for Christmas.
It's lovely, that stuff.
It was
Have you
gone
tried the
by
coffee
Boxing
one?
Day.
Have you tried the coffee one?
No, but I'm going to because I do like a coffee.
Oh, a coffee one.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh, it's good. A little bit too good.
What does it taste like in a coffee?
You know what, John? That pisses me off.
I don't
What's
know.
the one thing out the way here, John?
Okay, go
Right.
on.
You said you've got a coffee rum, yeah?
Yeah.
I love the taste of coffee.
Mm-hmm.
So, in a bag of Revels, why they took the coffee out, John?
I don't know, Neil.
I'm happy with that.
You're gonna have to get onto. Was it Roundtrees or
Is it
Roundtrees? No, I don't know who it was. But yeah, but your coffee, your chocolate. Put the coffee one back in, for God's sake.
Piss me off. That room here.
Yeah, check out the Maltese. You want a Malteser? Buy a pack of Maltesers.
Is it nice?
You know what I mean? Simple as that. Anyway, that's Neil's rant out the way. Beardo. Neil's rant is out.
Does he feel better now?
I do, actually.
Anyway, give us a quick synopsis about yourself, pal, and where it all started to where you are now.
So I'm Beardo Gets Scared. Initially, I started on YouTube as a unboxer. I bought mystery boxes and unboxed them. Funko Pop collecting, sort of collecting special editions and certain like Ghostbusters and the Goonies stuff that I grew up watching. Then I sort of horror figures, and then obviously I've got all this stuff here. It's all around my room. Is just surrounded in. I've got the original 1989 Batman Tim Burton movie. I got the entire toy range there. Some of it was mine when I was a kid. Some of it I've had to replace because things have fallen apart. Some of them are still boxed. Marvel Legends. Yeah, so I unboxed all that stuff. Introduced gaming because I loved gaming. Then discovered this platform called Twitch where it was like people pay to watch you play video games, and I'm really bad at the games I play, but apparently I'm quite funny. And Twitch kind of made these changes and rules that I didn't agree with, where if I said too many expletives within too many seconds in a game full of violence and gunfire, I could get taken down. Yet there were people in hot tubs with very little of the imagination. And I'm like, the age range for this platform is sort of 12 years up. I don't like that. I've gone back there since because they reversed that, and it it was borderline. Nobody was watching that for creative. We'll leave that way that is. I got burnt out with it. I was working 12-hour shifts because I was still in security then. And I was sort of trying to do the streams in between work, and I was just so burnt with it. But because I used to be a musician as well, and that sort of went with obviously the pandemic and all that. And then my wife was like, "You need a creative outlet. Why don't you do something with the paranormal?" Because I was investigating back in 2003, 2004 ish. Can't think of the exact date, but like an idiot, watched Most Haunted and like, wow, I'm gonna do that. Go out, you're like, Knox, where's the stuff getting thrown? Why isn't this happening to me? And I did some of the paid the paid events where a company will hire out a building, and you get far too many people in there, and all hell breaks loose, and it's always just drunk people or people that can't stick to rules. I thought, I'm never doing one of these again. I don't enjoy them. Nothing. It wasn't even like the company did anything wrong. It was they give very specific rules, and people just didn't pay any attention. And it was like, this isn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a legitimate paranormal investigator, and I'm just watching people scare themselves and scare each other, and it's not for me. And yeah, I started this channel. It was originally how to grow on Twitch because I was quite successful there for a small channel. But it was boring. I was too straight laced to just replicating other videos saying, you need to grow by, and then giving graphs, and it just wasn't me at all. And the same way in boxing, really, it never really was me with it. It was always like I was presenting something, but then as soon as the reaction videos came in, some things used to scare me, and then more and more, I was like, am I allowed to swear here? Bull
Yeah,
poo.
of course.
We'll say bull poo. That's bull. That's bull. And more and more of it. And then the TikTok trend came in, and I'm like, it's all crap. I can't watch this anymore. What am I going to do? And then I accidentally found myself debunking content. And then people were like, oh, you're a part of the debunking community. I was like, the what? And then found people like Mr. Grey. Because I had no idea that debunking. I obviously I've heard of debunking. I watched Taps. But I didn't know there was a YouTube community for debunking, and they just sort of embraced me, and it's gone crazy. Absolutely crazy.
It's what I mean. It's like I kind of found out about the debunking channels through Steve from the Ouija Brothers. He mentioned the shape to me, and I watched the shape, and I thought he was hilarious. And what he was debunking was spot on. And I've been spouting to all my friends and all these people who want to listen, saying that's a lot of bollocks. That is that's not right. That's not how it works. We've been like yourself, investigating now for 10 to 15 years on and off and doing different kind of things. And not once has anything ever happened like that with us. So why is it happening to these people? And so when I watched the shape, I went, fantastic. This is a good thing. And then obviously more people popped up, like Side Eye Guy, yourself, Mr. Gray. And I thought, yeah, this is the way. It needs the paranormal needs an overhaul. And all these people need to be, listen, you've got to stop doing this because you're making the people who go out every single week doing it kind of scientifically, making them all look like the village idiot. Do you know what I mean? So
even the guys that are not doing it scientifically, but they're doing it because they enjoy it, but they're honest with it. I've got all the time in the world for that. I've got all the time for it. Is Mark from Dead Cold scientific with it? No, but does he love it? Is he honest with it? Yeah. And I'll watch 3 hours of nothing happening with Mark far longer than I can sit through, apart from the videos that I have to make. It's just, I'm more in, because the day somebody like Mark or the Ouija brothers or Ghosts on Trent capture something, that to me straight away from the off is potentially paranormal. Let's dig deeper into that. Let's look further into that. And there's been the odd occasion. Mark had one in Chillingham. Him and I forget the lady's name. They just sat in front of the fireplace, and you hear a woman speak, and everyone was like, "That was her." And I'm like, "Well, I've taken it into my editing software. It was not her. Her mouth moved, but I think she coughed. But there's a clear voice to the side of them. They didn't claim it to be paranormal." And I'm not saying it's paranormal, but it certainly didn't come from. Is it Lorien? Was it Lorien?
Lorien, yeah.
It might have been Lorien. It might have been.
I think you're on about you're on about Haunted Hill.
Is it? It might have been.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it might have been because there was playing cards on by the fireplace.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah. But I'm far more inclined to look at Mark, say, that's odd. That shouldn't have been there. And then say, well, yeah, I believe him. Now I'll look deeper. But I don't do it to catch him out. Otherwise, they wouldn't ask me to look. Because Mark and all the teams I shout out, they all email me footage, raw footage. And it's like, can you check this before we put it out and make ourselves look stupid? And that's the way it should be. A lot of people see debunkers as this evil, horrible, toxic fan base. And it's like, well, we're just looking for the truth. Some people, maybe they just don't believe and they like to mock. Fair enough. That's up to them. It's entertainment at the end of the day. But I think most of us either have a belief or want to have a belief. And, sometimes there's this little nugget of a video that'll come out and you're like, I wonder if that is it.
Yeah.
I must admit, right, what was I like, John? When I first got into the paranormal, I believed everything. What was I like?
It was terrible.
I was terrible.
Even on the Ouija boards,
everything. Because I've obviously been watching like Milestones and all that, and then I started getting paranormal, like investigations and all that. I believed everything. And over the years, I'll get more skeptical every time I go. And I'm thinking to myself, what a prat.
Yeah. Well, I said it on our last episode or the one before that. You go on. I don't want to say that because it's not the X Factor, but you do go on a kind of, when you start your journey, and then you go, actually, as you go, that can be explained. That can be explained. That doesn't work. That's a load of guff. Blah blah blah. And then you get to that little nugget, what you just said, that you think, actually, I can't explain that.
Yeah.
That is something I can't explain. I mean, in all the years I've been doing it, because I've done it way before these did, there's only probably three things I could probably say maybe paranormal. Not even that, still got a question mark.
Yeah.
But I actually, I'll always tell the story. I mean, I'm actually going to tell one next Wednesday on Jim Harold's campfire in America. So I'm really looking forward to that.
With people like us that are far more skeptical, and we're not in it for drama, we're not in it for, like, take away the debunking side of my channel because it attracts drama either way. But the investigation side of it, where we go out and we'll get something that, by comparison to these huge fake channels, we'll get something and we will be like, really? And then you just keep going over and over and over and over it. And then somebody say to you in the pub, what do you do? Paranormal investigating. Stuff getting no, none of that. But this one time, and then you're so excited, you explain to them what it is, and they're like, "Is that it? Where's the plate throw in? Where's the door slamming? Where's?"
Yeah.
And it's like that's not how it works. Am I doing something
Where's
wrong?
the levitation?
But then you see these other guys that will say, "Yep, I'm 100% real, no bullshit. I'm all real. I'm real. I'm real." Wow, I think I just saw a ghost. That's the first time. No, you saw one 2 weeks ago. You told us you saw one 2 weeks ago. If you were real, that would stick in your mind. That you'd never forget it.
That's right.
100%.
It's like if we mention it to our, because we got three brothers. Well, he's one of them. Now we've got two brothers, and they always go, "Oh, where are you going tonight? Fancy going to the pub or anything like that?" No, we're going to Guys Cliff Mansion. But why do you waste your Friday and Saturday nights doing these things? Oh, just because we find it interesting, and we go for the history more than anything. Plus, we do go to a pub before we go, and then hopefully after we come back here to the Brewdog Tavern. He goes, "Well, it's all a load of bullshit," and then he'll go, "But I remember waking up that one morning and there was someone sat at the end of my bed."
Yeah.
You know, and you're like, "What? Well, you've had more. You've saw more than I have."
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Right. If you're giving a pub, there's a random bloke sitting there, especially an old man or whatever, and you mention paranormal, 90% of the time they've got a ghost story.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what interests me.
Yeah.
You know, one of my favorite stories I ever heard, and I wish I could remember who it was. But they were telling me a story of this son. He'd come back from Iraq in the 90s. He was walking through Swansea city centre, saw his mate, waved at him, and he's like, "My mate's just giving me the dead stare." And I'm like, "Well, have I done something wrong?" All the rest. So he goes home, says to his mum, "Well, I saw whoever in Swansea just stood there staring at me. I gave him a wave and just looked through me." And his mum was like, "Yeah, he died 3.5 months ago. I forgot to tell you." And that to me is the one where you're like, you know, he didn't just corner of the eye. He made eye contact and waved. And the fact the guy didn't look uncomfortable at him waving just burned a whole. Wow. What an incredible, you know, I can't debunk that. I wasn't there. But if that was real, that is incredible. And then it's like, we're all looking for Victorian dresses and stuff. How do we know we haven't walked past one?
Exactly.
How can we never see a ghost in a tracksuit or in like a 70s disco gear? I don't understand that.
Because would we know? Would we see, you know, you're in an abandoned location and somebody walks past in a tracksuit and your brain doesn't say ghost, your brain says, "Oh shit, there's somebody here. We've got to pack up, we've got to go. They might be coming in to get drunk, do drugs, spray painting, whatever." And you don't give that a second thought.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people don't speak to them. A lot of times, most of the time, it's somebody turning up for whatever reason, either investigators or urbexers. But luckily, I've not encountered any doggers yet. but I am going to Cannock soon, so that could change.
I mean, you're
guaranteed the dogging capital of the world.
I'm telling you.
I'm going there to investigate, not for no.
Didn't you have a dogging DVD at one stage?
I did. I put it on eBay, but I didn't get I sell it, but I had 25 watches.
Anyway, so through the years, Beardo, like I said, I mentioned this bloody journey, but I don't want to say that word anymore because it makes me cringe. When I started in the paranormal, it was a totally different scene completely. And I personally believe that we've got to a stage now where obviously debunkers now, like yourself, are getting more prevalent. And I think it's because we are sick to the back teeth of the fake content, not just on YouTube, just on Facebook as well, especially the lives, what was happening through lockdown and things like that, where people are going to an abandoned bus station, and before you know it, they've had 6 ghosts come by, you know, and you're like, what the hell's going on?
And it waters down the people that are doing the real work, the people that go out week after week after week and still capture nothing, then try to edit nothing happening into a 30 to an hour long video and make it entertaining without the fakery, without the shenanigans. And that to me is far harder than making a fake video. Anyone can make a fake video. I do it all the time for a laugh. And I do it to show how easy it is. But for the teams that we watch, the teams that we enjoy, for them to go to these places, fuel, time away from the family, sometimes the health risks, pigeon crap and rat drop-ins, all of that, to come away empty-handed time after time and still have that drive to put. I mean, you guys investigate, you guys make videos, 60 hours in editing a video because you've recorded for however many hours, and you've got to condense it down and try to make it look nice. And it's hard work for these guys, really hard work. I've investigated like these guys for a long time, very honest, but to edit it, different ball game that, because it's like, right, if I cut out the fact everything that didn't happen, I've got an intro.
It's right, that is.
But then people,
we have a laugh in that.
Yeah, and I'd rather watch, like, there's a few teams out there, Dorset Paranormal and Three Spires Paranormal. They have a laugh going into the place. They investigate seriously, and then they start laughing again, and then it's like watching your friends, and you feel part of it because you laugh at them laughing at whatever. It's just a good time, and everyone's like, you've got to be very serious, very staunch. Well, no, you haven't. That can be very boring. We all investigate seriously, but we have a laugh as well.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if you're a ghost, let's just, if ghosts are real, what are they going to interact with? Somebody saying, "Could you knock once for yes?" or
Neil's dogging you.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. When you're in a place and you're injecting a bit of life into there, a bit of energy and a laugh and all the rest of it, if there is anything out there, surely they'll be like, "What are they laughing at? I want in." That's,
exactly.
This place has been abandoned for 20 years. It's the first time, if they're there, they've heard laughing. Go for it. I don't understand this. You've got to walk around with a stone face and your EMF like that.
Yeah.
Knock once for you. And I'm seeing more and more teams bring their humour and their personalities into it, and that's what I love to get involved in. And like watching you guys with Dead Cold, the last video Mark put out, it's brilliant. The little jokes now and again, and then you're like, but then the investigation is serious. But then another little joke will slip in somewhere, and you're like, this is cool. It passes the time, it makes it enjoyable to watch, and if there is anything there, maybe they could enjoy it as well.
Yeah.
Now, if you go and watch our video with Mark from the same location, because I made one as well, you'll see when we're in the pub at the start and things like that, and that kind of builds to a good evening. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what it's like. We only go out now. We do a road trip, paranormal road trip. So we find a location. The next one we're going is actually in Wales. I've just got to find out where it is. So we drive to a location. We always find a good pub so we can do our paranormal ale. Then we go to the location, do an investigation, and then we get out there. We make the video. If nothing happens, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because we've had a great time. We've talked about the history of the place, and it's just a bonus if we get anything, And we come out and we have a good laugh and discuss about the day and put it all on video. And that's kind of where we're going. We're doing paranormal road trips. That's going to be our next kind of thing. We went to.
I love stuff like that. I really do. When you're aware of the history of 30 East Drive or the history of 30 East Drive, but to go there, experience it, come away from it, and somebody say to you, "Oh, what did you do Saturday?" And you're like, "Oh, I went to the 30 East Drive. Oh, what's that?" You tell them the story, and they sat there like, "You went there. What was it like?" And there's a bit of excitement. And then you say to them, "What did you do?" "Oh, watch the football, and my missus chucked me out for pissing in the wardrobe again."
Almost Saturday night for Neil. Yeah, we went to Tintern Abbey, our last one, and we drove there. Nice pub next door. We went round the Abbey. That was fantastic. And then just up the road, up a hill, there's an abandoned church.
All right.
Which burnt down, and that to me is a good day out. Got in the car, drove home. Bob's your uncle.
John. I want you to come home.
Well, no, he was hanging out of his arse because he got absolutely leathered the night before.
Did.
So job he wasn't driving that day.
And I've looked at this hill, which is like pretty 100 foot
it looked like Ben Nevis to him, but it was more like a little hill.
I bet he got a bead of sweat just looking at it like, oh no.
I couldn't breathe.
But we had a fantastic day. Nothing happened. and we never claimed anything happened. But the video is a good watch, only 20 minutes long,
Yeah.
and I think that's what you really need to do.
Yeah.
You know, if something happens, brilliant. So I take it that you're quite skeptical, a skeptical believer.
Yes. I class myself as a believer because of some experiences I've had. I believe other people's experiences that they've told me, but
Yeah.
I don't believe 99.9% of the content. I just don't. If you're
Yeah.
going out once a week and once a week you're getting poltergeist activity, no, it's not how it works. And a lot of these channels will argue with me and say, "Oh, what would you know?" And it's like, I've been at this longer than you have. I just didn't record it. I never felt the need to record it. And it's like, that's not how it works. I mean, I live in a house where there's activity. We can't explain it. My wife won't let me try to film it or capture it because she doesn't want to antagonize and all the rest of it. And I try to debunk everything that happens here. And some of it I have. And then some of it I'm like, I don't know. There's things she's explained to me that have happened, and I've gone, nah, I can recreate that, and I can't. Or
Yeah.
I'm editing a video one night, and I've got Dean that comes out with me on occasion. He sat in this studio. My desk used to be this way, looking at the door behind me. And I heard something, and then you just seen the colour drain out of his face. He looked at me. I said, what was that? He said, your bag with all your gear in it. He says, leaning against the wall that way. And I've watched it fall that way. Didn't slide under with the weight of the tripods and everything. He says, it's fallen against gravity. How did that happen? I was like, just one of those things in this house. I've been here 10 years and I've seen 2 things in 10 years. He was just lucky that he'd been here 40 minutes and saw something there. My wife has seen 5 or 6 events. But yeah, that's in, and she's lived here 20 years. So that's how rare it is.
Is it an old property or
No.
kind of a new build?
It was built in 1983. We know everyone that's ever lived here. None of them have passed. But we've got a cemetery that's a stone throw away. We've got a castle that's about half a mile away. And there's a Second World War munitions place around us and all the tunnels. Our garden caved in into one of the tunnels. So who knows what could have happened in the past on the grounds, you know? But it's weird. It can be weird. I did something like this with Purple, and he watched a picture frame behind me lift off my wall and fall. And he was like, "You've just stitched me up, haven't you?" And I've got studio buds in, so I couldn't hear anything. I was like, "No." And then he's playing it. He goes to play it back to see if my chair is sort of, and obviously my chair didn't touch it. He's rewinding it back. He's like, "That's the only bit of the video that corrupted. Where is it?" I was like, "That's nuts." I thought it was my chair. I must have done it with
that's
my
quite
chair.
odd, isn't it? That.
Yeah, bizarre.
I mean, have you ever thought that you might have had something follow you back once from a location?
I don't think so, because there was something here before I moved here. Because me and my wife have both previously been in relationships before and then got together, and she's had things before. Our son has never seen a thing. Our daughter has on 2 occasions. But she didn't describe her as a ghost. She was like, "Who's that woman sticking her head in through my door last night?" And we were like, "It was your mum checking on you." Weird noises, bangs. A few people have been creeped out here, and you know, it doesn't look like a haunted house. You know, it's a very modern looking house, and people have had some experiences here, which is cool, but it's not a weekly at all. No, my wife doesn't know what it is. This part that I'm in is an extension. It's the newest part of the house, which oddly gets the most activity now. But we thought one of the kids was smoking at one point, and I'm like, when I catch them, you know, look out. But couldn't catch them, and I was having I was having a hell of a rough time. Work sucked, Twitch was dying on me, and I was just like, oh, what am I don't want to go back on the doors. And I kept smelling cigarette smoke, and I'm like, this is just adding to it. And then I walked in through the living room, and I don't know why, I looked at my grandparents' ashes, and I was like, I bet you paid find this hysterical, wouldn't you? And then I just had this sort of penny drop moment. I was like, I wonder if that was my grandfather, because he was a man's man telling me to man that up. And it hasn't happened since. We haven't smelled smoke since. And I was like, could it have been? Could it have just been one of the kids, and they were just really clever with it? But If somebody else has that
You'll never
experience,
know.
I'll
And that's the good
No.
thing about it.
But when somebody comes to me with an experience like that, I'm like, don't let anyone tell you it's not a ghost. If it makes you feel better, if you think that's your family checking in on you, have it. Have at it. Believe it. If it's scaring you, then, try to debunk it. But if you think your family are visiting you and that gives you a better lifestyle, a better quality of life that you're being looked in on, have at it. And don't let anyone tell you any different, no matter what they do for a living.
Yeah. You know something, right? I've had dreams about like my mom and so. And when I've woke up, I've been in such a good mood. It
Yeah.
feels like that she's actually visited me in my sleep. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it makes me, I have a great day every time it happens. And I think it's so weird. And I do believe that like they do visit you, John. I know it sounds a bit far fetched.
Well, that one time you mentioned to me that you was lying in bed and he was like he was laughing to himself because he could sense there was something in the room.
Yeah.
And he started laughing to himself in his sleep, and you could see something like a mist.
It's like just a little bit of a mist, and I breathed it in, and I started laughing to myself. And I went, "What the fuck is that?" Laughing on. And all day, I felt so fucking weird, honestly.
Yeah.
I couldn't explain it. I tell people about it and go, "Ah, fuck off," or whatever.
But it's the thing. What you said to me, Neil, is that when you looked in the mirror, that you felt like you wasn't looking at yourself.
Yeah, it was weird. I've never experienced nothing like it in my life. And it wasn't long after my mum passed away as well. And I was like,
and that's one of those things that don't let anyone ever tell you any different. Claim that as however you want, and if you think that's your mum visiting, it was your mum visiting, and you're allowed to have that. That's not a YouTube video. That's not a TV show. That's a real experience to you, a personal experience, and that's yours.
So when we finish this chat, Beardo, I'll keep it on the video for about 5 minutes. I want to tell you this thing, what happened to me. I'm going to tell on Jim Harold's campfire, and I just want your opinion on it. It's I don't want to do it next. It'll probably take too long, if you know what I mean. Because there's a start, beginning, and an end. So we'll come to that after we've stopped recording. Neil, guess what?
Wow.
Beardo is a big horror fan. He loves his horror films, just like us. Just like us. I've got my Dawn of the Dead t-shirt on.
I've got my Cable Guy t-shirt on.
Take Cable Guy. Cable Guy is a very underrated film, Neil.
I love Cable Guy.
Cult classic.
And it's a lot darker than I remember it being as a kid. The Cable Guy is a dark film.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is, man.
What's your favourite genre of horror?
Oh, that's a good one. I love slashers, but I think it's the stuff with haunted houses. I love a good haunted house movie. Like, I love The Conjuring House, but I remember watching the original House on Haunted Hill with my grandfather. Black and white film. The effects were rubbish. It scared the crap out of me, and I love being scared. It's an adrenaline rush. I was very young watching it, and it didn't traumatize me. But my favorite film that traumatized me. I couldn't watch it until I was a teenager. But the sort of the paranormal, ghosty, haunted house thing. It gives you that creep factor that slasher films can get a bit repetitive.
Yeah.
So I love a good. I even enjoyed the Paranormal Activity movies in the beginning.
Definitely.
The very effective, scary building of tension.
When the Paranormal Activity films came out, there was another film called Paranormal Entity.
Yeah,
and it was the same kind of exactly the same kind of film, but it was set around a bedroom.
All right.
And everything was happening in this one room. Personally, I thought it was better than Paranormal Activity, but because me and the wife watched it in bed, oh my god, she I've never saw anybody turn so whiter than him, so quick in my entire life, and she's never watched it again. And she won't.
When I watched Paranormal Activity the first time, I watched it before it came out in the cinema. There was an original version of it that didn't have the special effects at the end. I'm watching my mate, and he's like, "You're into all this crap, are you?" Yeah. He's like, "This ain't scary. This ain't scary." And as he's watching, I can see him like, and then his cat jumped into his lap off the back of the sofa. His cat jumped on him. He shot up in the air. The coffee table went over. His drinks went over. Ah! And I was like, I thought it was a load of crap. And he was like, Couldn't do what you do. Nah.
I remember watching the Blair Witch Project on the cinema, and it was one of a kind when it came out. And it was the first found footage film you'd ever see on cinema, and a lot of people, as we was leaving, even though you could hear a pin drop in the cinema for the whole film. People was going, well, that wasn't scary. That wasn't scary. And this one guy walked past me, and I stopped him. I goes, I'll ask you one question. Would you go camping just after watching that? And he went, would I fuck? Exactly. It's done exactly what it meant to do. It's made you scared of the woods.
Me and a couple of the boys went, watched the Blair Witch, went home, and I was like, that was creepy. That was really creepy. And they were like, nah, it's not. I was like, let's go camping then. Go on then. Got the tent. We got a couple of beers. Off we went. Pitched up the tent. We lasted an hour and a half. I was like, no, I'm going home. I'm going home.
Yeah.
Is that the one about the tap dancer, John?
No, that's the Lionel Blair Project now. That one. So going back to horrors. I mean, I did ask you earlier on, what is kind of your favourite horror, and you said Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah. And do you know what? Not the first Nightmare on Elm Street is definitely my top 10 of horrors of all time. Yeah, when it came out, it was like, again, it was original.
Yeah. Not only was it original, but the concept of I was very young. I had no business watching it. I was somewhere between 4 and 6, and I just annoyed my uncle, and he was like, "Go on then, if you want to watch it, you can watch it." I wish he'd never done it, because I was just like, "What am I watching?" I was that young. I didn't realize that he was a burn victim, and I went crying to my grandmother, and I'm like, "There's some man with a poo head, and he's cutting people up with his fingernails." But I was old enough to understand that he was doing it in their sleep. And that was it. For years, I had nightmares about him. I thought he was living in my attic. He absolutely traumatized by the character of Freddy Krueger. Scared the shit out of me. Didn't watch it for years and years and years. As a teenager, I went to watch it and I was like, yep, this is every bit as terrifying as I remember. And like practical effects instead of special effects, and just so well done.
No CGI, fantastic.
You know something, John, the first time I watched it, I absolutely crap myself that bad, right? I slept in my mum's bed on the night.
He was 18 at the time.
Yeah.
Well, A Nightmare on Elm Street, Beardo, only cost $2 million to make. I mean, even back then, that was cheap as chips.
Yeah. Yeah, because the... Go on.
Oh, yeah, carry on, sorry.
The scene when he comes out of the wall above the bed, the most effective scene in the movie, backlit white sheet. That's all it was. Yeah. It wasn't even Robert Englund. But how effective.
You know something? He's never watched Dream Warriors.
See, no. A lot of people think it's the better of, the good ones. I like it, but I'm one of the weird ones that likes part 2 as well. I think Freddy just ripping that pool party apart. I thought it was Carnage Candy. I'm like, go on, Freddy. And that's the thing. This guy was killing kids. And as a teenager, you're like, go on, Freddy, kill them all. What am I doing?
Yeah, have that. But Johnny Depp was his first acting debut in Nightmare. But they was going to give it to Charlie Sheen at first. But he wanted £3,000 a week. So they goes, sod off, Charlie. You ain't come. Johnny Depp done it for virtually nothing.
Look how that worked out. One of them haven't got a career anymore. The other one had a dog shit in his bed.
Exactly. But he's winning. That's the main thing. He's winning. Is he still alive? I don't even know.
He is, yeah.
Is he, Charlie Sheen?
Yeah, he's just he's on the blacklist for Hollywood, isn't he? Because he's been a bit of a naughty boy.
Very naughty. Did you know, the pair, that the French Prince, DJ Jazzy Jeff and Will Smith made a song called A Nightmare on My Street. And Will Smith appears in the video and pays homage to Nightmare on Elm Street.
Really?
No, I never even knew that. No, me neither. I never even knew of that. Imagine that, Will Smith and Jazzy Jeff. A nightmare. Well, they were a nightmare, weren't they? Let's be honest. You know what I mean? But Wes Craven got the Freddy Krueger character from someone at school. someone who used to bully him as a kid. That's where he come up with the Freddy
Yeah.
Krueger character.
The
apparently.
name came from the character from somebody in real life, and the look came from him looking out of a window and seeing a guy just staring back at him wearing a fedora.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be terrifying in itself back in them days.
Yeah.
And also, one little last thing. Do you know the scene where Johnny Depp is on the bed?
Yeah.
And the blood comes up at the bed and hits the ceiling. And he nicked that from Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. That's where he got that kind of blood scene from, which again is one of my favorite films of all time. Absolutely fantastic.
Did you know that the bedroom? You know how they did it. They built the bedroom inside of a cage that rolled, and they just poured the blood out as opposed to jetting it out. It's the same bedroom that is used in the first part where Tina is on the ceiling. They just redecorated it and used the same roll cage on the same bedroom and redecorated it. But imagine the work that went into that to get the lamp to still stand upright and all the bedroom furniture not to just fall off. And incredible.
Movie magic.
Yeah.
Movie magic.
And it looked far more realistic than CGI stuff now.
The scene with Tina, I watched that on Barry Norman's film night. What was that called? The scene with Tina, I watched that and I was going, what the hell is this? What the hell is this film? I need to watch this film. And when I watched it, I couldn't wait for that scene. But the good thing about the original Nightmare on Elm Street is Freddy Krueger is only in it for 10 minutes.
That's weird, yeah.
Because you don't know who he is or what's he all about. So you don't know who the monster is. And that is all. I've always said it. If you know who the monster is in the first 10 minutes of a horror film, it stops becoming scary.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why Nightmare on Elm Street works so much, well.
That's why you're always waiting for him to turn up, eh?
It's the sense of impending doom, because they show him early on, but then for a huge portion, there's versions of him, but you never see him fully lit. Or he's the hallway monitor. Yeah, or he's the hallway monitor. It's a girl with his voice, and just a very cerebral horror film. I think it's amazing.
It is brilliant. You know what got me? What proper scared me in that film, John?
What's that?
You know, at the very end when the mum's saying "ta-ra" and they drive off in the car, and Freddy comes. What do you do? Rip her head off or something?
No. The effects are fantastic. You can clearly see it's a rubber doll being pulled through the little bit. They're that big. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but it's like brilliant.
That was tacked on by the film studio. That was never Wes Craven's ending. The film studio tacked that on, which is why it looked so awful. It was meant to end with Nancy just wishing him out of existence. That's where the film was supposed to end, and everyone was supposed to stay dead. Yeah,
it should have done. Especially when she drives up in the car and she's up the glass like this. That bit, yes, but not the doll being dragged through and all that big.
Pull a sex doll through a window. No.
Anyway.
Yeah. So we got some nice little fun questions for you, Beardo. We've already done 43 minutes. How about that?
I know. It's crazy, you know.
It is. Do you remember Room 101?
Yes.
So our good friend Orange here to my right is going to ask you about Paranormal Room 101. Orange, take it away.
Right. Be careful what you say here, pal.
You know who I am, right? I'm always in trouble.
3 items that you want to put in Room 101. Well, Paranormal Room 101. People, equipment, locations to banish from the paranormal forever.
Yeah.
Who are you putting in? What are you putting in?
Like, number 1, cat balls. Just get them in the bin. They're not paranormal toys. They are cat toys. They're designed to flash. They're designed to go off to attract your cat. Stop fucking using them. If somebody says, I know what this is, it's on the side there, and if it flies off, all right, different.
Yeah.
But as for it's detecting the ghost, no, it's not. It's detecting nothing.
No. They go off so easy. So easy to go off.
Temperature changes. I've got a temperature. I've got a tri-field meter, and it's got temperature in it, and it took 0.4 of a degree change for that foil to touch to set off the cat ball. I tested it. I didn't film it because it took hours. But once that temperature starts to drop at night, it drops quickly. So you can imagine how much, and then the lights kick in, the inside of the ball heats slightly, and then that foil lifts back up, it switches off, it cools down. That's what's happening.
And they still use them. They still use them, Beardo.
Yeah.
They still use them.
I went out with a team, very, very nice people, not so long ago. I went to 30 East Drive with them, and I said, I'm making a video, obviously. I said, I'm going to eye roll every time you say the word cat ball. But if I'm a guest with a team, I'll investigate their way. But they were very open to my sort of thoughts, and you can't. That's rubbish. That's rubbish. So they were like, but what if it's in response? Like, go for it. I'm editing the video now, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, I've got to cut a 10-hour investigation. 9 hours is me going. But they were lovely people. They were good investigators, and towards the end of the night, he was like, "These cat balls are bullshit," and they like, "Yep, they are." Second
in room
thing,
101. There we go.
Yep, in the bin with them. Second thing would be teams without any prior knowledge or experience doing residential hauntings. There are a number of teams out there now that are not looking at things like mental health, not looking at long-term damage and all the rest of it. They're looking at YouTube views. There's a large American channel that I've had a couple of fallings out with. They are doing it, and it's like you're making jokes about doing stuff to your brother, all really cringe. And then you're going to go into somebody's house that may well be suffering from a haunting or mental health, and you're going to come out with it and say, "Yep, it was a demon," because that's what sells on YouTube. You're going to do damage. That no joking, no messing about, no laughing at their expense. You're dangerous at that point because you're not caring about the people in that house. You're caring about YouTube ad revenue, and that shouldn't happen.
Yeah, totally agree. 100%. That is going in room 101. Shocking.
Yep.
People who go into these kind of private kind of houses where the people have called people in with the best of faith, and they're telling them all this bullshit. It's just damaging.
Yeah,
and it shouldn't be happening, but it does. It happens everywhere, and it's such a shame. It really.
Yeah,
it's such a shame.
Then I suppose the other thing then to lump in with that would be a TV show that I think belongs in the bin, and I think they're worse than most haunted, is Help My House is Haunted because of that.
Yes.
Barry Guy getting flying kicked by a stick figure, and that guy that pretends he was never part of Most Haunted. Just because you grew a beard and got tatted up doesn't mean that we don't recognise you from Most Haunted and all these other silly things you did. Now you put on an exorcist hat and a big beard and be like, I'm an exorcist. Yeah. No, you're not. You're a prat. Stop it. I watched them investigate a scout hall. They investigated a scout hall, and they're like, this is all the stories of the scout hall. I'm like, do you know how many kids are going to watch that? They'll go to that scout hall and be terrified. And he's going, look at this EMF. Look at this EMF. And I'm like, well, yeah, you've got a radio there. There's the aerial poking out off it for your spirit box session. And every time you put the EMF near it, the speaker in the radio is going to set it off, and the aerial is going to set it off while it's turned on. And you're telling the owner of this scout hall that that's a ghost. No, it's not. And you know it's not. That's the big difference. They know what's setting that EMF off this many years into it, and they're doing it on purpose. Those kids could watch that and be like, I ain't going to that scout hall again. It's full of ghosts. I think the word demon may have been mentioned.
More than likely. Well, we do a character on our podcast called the Yorkshire Exorcist. Seth Constantine is called, and I'll send you a little clip. You'll be in stitches. But we've mentioned Help My House as well. Now we know Jane Harris. We've met her lots of times, and she's absolutely fantastic. She's lovely.
A lot of people have said she is a very, very nice woman.
But Barry Guy and his bulletproof vest, and Ian Lawman with the a Ouija board penciled in on top of his hat, and his little turned up moustache.
He turned it round, with his moustache.
He goes, that's how we get on. That's what's setting off the REM pod. But
they give the rest for such a bad name. What do you do for a living? Oh, I'm a paranormal investigator. I'm a YouTuber. All right, cool. And then they'll say things like, so you do what Lenian Ben does, you do what Really Haunted does, you do what Ian Lawman does. No. Most of us laugh at that. No, that's not what we do. But that's because that's what's popular. That's what people think we do. And it's like, that's what we're trying to get away from. That's the stuff we know. Yeah. But to do it in somebody's home or private. Yeah.
Well, I've been watching the celebrity one. And And every time I put it on, the wife will do an eye roll at me. What are you watching this for? I want to watch it because I want to critique it. It gets me blood boiling that much. As even from the off, Ian Lawman has not been told about the location, and they're driving past cemeteries, driving past houses, hundreds of houses. So how can he pick up a ghost at a location he hasn't been told where he's even going? What about all the other spirits he just passed by?
Yeah,
Work that one out.
It's just a joke, and I don't have to debunk that stuff. They debunk themselves so often. I mean, why is he wearing a stab vest? I've never seen a ghost with a knife.
I don't know. I don't know. This is probably why he gets drop kicked in the face.
That was hilarious.
This is why the ghost target his face. That's why. Because
yeah, well, they love the copyright system to silence the critics. They hit a friend of mine, and he was like, "My video's been taken down. I've been hit with a copyright strike." I was like, "It's fine. I'll just show your video in my channel, and I'm reacting to yours, not theirs. But I'll just zoom it right in, and then they can't touch me. I'll reverse the image so everything's backwards. I'll change the pitch of his voice slightly." I was like, "This is Barry Guy getting hit in the face by a ghost. Isn't it funny? What a load of shit!" And they couldn't touch me for it. They tried, but I got the decision reversed.
Yeah. Fantastic.
How stupid would you feel, John?
I don't know.
I couldn't do it. My morals wouldn't let me do it.
No.
Well, yeah. I couldn't wear a bulletproof vest, I'll be honest with you.
Beardo, I've got another question for you.
Yeah.
You have crossed over to the other side, Beardo. Sorry to hear this, by the way. But we want to resurrect you. But we need 3 things that you love. What 3 things do we need to bring you back from the other side?
First answer's got to be my wife. But I know it sounds sappy and all the rest of it, but it's my best friend. She puts up with so much of my crap. It'd have to be my wife, pizza, and rum. The kids will come in somewhere.
Fantastic. Sounds like a fantastic. Neil, what would 3 things would bring you back? Here we go.
I don't know. I like a good music. No, I like my music.
You like your music, yeah.
Right. Probably a good rave.
A good rave, yeah. Okay, nice.
Yeah. Somebody invite me to a good rave from '91. I'm happy with that. Or what else do I like? I love chocolate. If they could bring back drifters or some chocolate that's like been took off the system for those reasons. Coffee flavored rebels. Got me a bowl of them.
So a Raven Rebels.
Raven Rebels.
Yeah. Anything else? One last thing. Then you're back in the room.
Probably some hot bitch, John. I don't
know. Jesus Christ! I'm not with the toenail.
All right. It's a good night.
Hey, at least he's honest.
Beardo, we need to crack on. Beardo, another question for you. You are on a Ouija board, and you with a link to a dead celebrity, a celebrity past. Who would you like to talk to, a dead celebrity, and what would you ask him?
I would probably have to go with Dimebag Darrell. You guys probably never heard of him. He was the guitarist in a band called Pantera. And as a kid, I idolized Pantera. It's the reason I picked up a guitar, the reason I was in music, in bands, and sorry. I don't know if I'd have anything specific to ask him. I met him once at an Ozfest. It's a festival that was in Milton Keynes. And he was just, for this huge on-stage persona, he was such a nice man. And I just love to be able to have a sit-down conversation just about music and the good old days. Because I was a kid, I was in my early teens when Pantera were massive. And just to be able to, an idol, him or even Kurt Cobain, because, that was my influence into music. Music was such a big part of my life that, even Prince, because Prince was phenomenal. And I'm a metalhead, I'm not allowed to like Prince because I'm a metalhead, but Prince was out of this world.
He could play anything. He could play the chopsticks. Play anything.
Yeah.
Genius. Absolute genius, Prince.
Well, mate,
Prince. Did you had those arguments when you were a kid as well. Who's better, Michael Jackson or Prince? Well, Prince won. You didn't touch no. No, I can't do that one.
Go on, you were saying about Prince.
Oh, damn it. I was going to say my mate's written a song with Prince. What a talented dog that was.
Anyway,
I feel bad for laughing at that.
You got to have a laugh, eh?
you got to have a laugh, are you? That's
Yeah, of
fine
course you have.
thing. Anyway, Beardo, are you ready for your quick fire 10?
Yes, I am.
All we need is a yes or no answer. As simple as that. The premise is so simple. Yes or no. Here we go. Beardo's quick fire 10. Are ghost apps on phones a load of shite?
Yes.
Are the Ouija boards a real way to contact the dead?
Yes.
Is the
Personal
Venga
experience.
bus better than the Tucker bus?
What the fuck? No, I don't know.
Can dolls, items, etc. hold an attachment?
No.
Are TV shows showing fake content?
Yes.
Should people investigate working graveyards?
No.
Does Bigfoot exist?
No.
Are
Sorry,
aliens
America.
already amongst us?
No.
And are debunkers getting the recognition they deserve?
No.
And your last one for your quickfire 10. Are ghost, spirits, spectres real?
Yes.
There you go. There's the quickfire 10.
Fantastic.
Simple. I was quite surprised with the alien one now, Beardo. That they are already amongst us.
I don't think they're already among us, but I refuse to believe that in this infinite universe that we're it. No way. Have they visited us? I don't know. I'd like to think that they have and they can. Are they among us now? I don't think so. We'd know about it, but there's something out there. There's gotta be. It's ignorant to think otherwise.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're living under the sea or, the lizards living in Buckingham Palace or none of that shit.
I was very surprised at the Ouija board one.
Because of a
What do you
personal
mean?
experience.
Yeah.
I had a horrible experience.
Yeah.
And I have to believe my own eyes, ears, and I've spoken to the guys because some of us are still friends, and while we have questioned everything, and we've all got very different memories of it because your memory changes over time, and I remember one date, another guy remembers another date, and then the third guy's like, nah, you're all wrong, and we pieced it all together. But the event that happened, all of us were like, how in the hell did that happen, and why did it fuck some of us up for so long? Because it mentally messed with me for quite a while, which is why
Jesus
I've started playing with them again to see if I can replicate it. My wife's like, it's in the boot of my car. I'm not allowed to bring it in the house. And my wife doesn't believe in them, but she believes in what happened to me. And she's like, that thing stays in the car. Don't ever bring that in the house. Which is fair enough. Respect my wife. But if somebody else told me the story of what happened to me, I'd laugh and be like, absolute bull. Absolute bull. Can't happen. But I was there. And okay, alcohol was involved. Weed was involved. And teenagers and all the rest of it. But there were some people that weren't drunk. There were some people that weren't high, and they saw the same thing. Incredible. But I've never seen it happen since. I've never seen it happen to anyone else. But I've heard stories of the same thing happening to people. So who knows? And I was there. It's one of those things, because I was there and I saw it. I have to believe it. Somebody else tell me the same thing, I'd be like, you're mad. No way. It's a plank of wood. But something happened to me, and it's still like there's a nervousness around me with Ouija boards. I know not to fear it. It's idiomotor, but what happened wasn't idiomotor. It went against physics. So
it's your experience, Beardo, and no one can ever take that away from you.
I wish they could have when I was a kid. It scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, but it pushed out Freddy Krueger, so you know.
I mean, I love Ouija boards, I
Jesus.
do. Oh, John,
Say that again.
I love Ouija boards, I do.
Yeah.
It's the only board game I can still play with my nan.
Oh, dear God.
Oh, John.
And on that bombshell right there, people. On that bombshell right there. Beardo, thanks for coming on. It's been an absolute bloody pleasure, pal.
Thank you for having me on. It's obviously I've watched you guys with Mark. I've watched your stuff as well, and yeah, it's just a good time. I like to interact with good people, and you know, if I can get some views over your way, and maybe one day go out and do an investigation with you guys, because it'd be a laugh. Absolutely.
Well, it's fantastic, mate.
Well, when we sort out this Wales one, it's in a place called, is it Vinyl?
How's it
It's in
spelled?
North Wales. Vaynol.
I don't know. North Wales is about 4.5 hour drive, but I've done it for Abandons. I've done it for the Hill House. Yeah. If you want me there, I'll come up. Of course I will.
It's an abandoned. Well, it's not abandoned. It's just obviously a derelict mausoleum in the woods.
All right.
Which
Ooh.
sounds very interesting. It looks absolutely fantastic. There's still a crypt there. There's still a bell tower. So yeah, I really want to go and check that out.
Yeah, cool.
Oh, yeah.
What we do, I'll give you a little buzz and see if you want to meet us there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic.
Sounds great.
Fantastic. Yeah, so anyway, Beardo, thanks for coming on, pal. It's been an absolute bloody pleasure. If we can put you in the green room and I want to tell you that story, I'll do it as quick as I can. And again, fantastic. We'll see you in a bit.
Cheers,
no worries.
pal.
No worries.
So there you go. There's Beardo.
I really enjoyed that.
Absolutely fantastic. You know, you can't beat having someone on your show who is genuine, and straight to the point. You know, no airs and graces. This is what happens. Have some of that. No bullshit. Love it.
Well, as you said, like it was like chatting in the pub.
Yeah, and that's what it was like. Like sitting down by a roaring fire with a couple of ales and telling ghost stories and just kind of going through the ins and outs of it all. And I love it. That's my idea. In the words of Gary Barlow, that's my idea of a bloody good day. That's the worst Gary Barlow impression ever.
Barlow.
Yeah, so I just want to say again, thanks for Beardo. Go and check out our podcast. And if you want some paranormal laughs, we're the kind of people you can check out with the paranormal Waynes. We'll tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell whoever you want, Neil. Do you know what I mean? But Neil, we have a saying, don't we?
Yeah.
To all you ghost catchers out there, to you alien twitchers, and you cryptid stalkers, or you horror junkies, if you are out investigating this week, Neil, what do we do? What do we do, Neil?
We don't get any spirits, don't we? Do drink them instead.
We drink them instead.
There's nothing in the glass, but
we'll see you next week. Have a good one, people.
Bonjour.